In the spirit of Halloween, I wanted to talk about bats, which can carry some of the deadliest viruses that are known to humans. And so we call that a reservoir of infection. Some viruses that bats have been known to carry are things like Ebola, the coronavirus that caused a COVID pandemic, Marburg virus, which we currently have an outbreak in Rwanda of. And so these viruses can have very high death rates. Some of them have a death rate of up to 90%. But they can exist with a bat harmlessly. And so this viral tolerance in bats comes from a very unique biology in bats that I wanted to talk about. Why are bats such great reservoirs of infection? So the first one is they have a uniquely evolved immune system. So bats have this constant antivirus state because they have the high levels of something called interferons, and they also suppress inflammation because they have anti-inflammatory molecules. So these two things means that viruses can persist within bats without damaging their tissues. And this is so different to our immune system, where we would have a lot of things that are trying to kill the virus. The second unique thing about bats is their cell physiology. So bats can fly, and so when they fly, they have very high body temperatures. Their body temperatures are similar to when we have a fever. And keep in mind that your fever is trying to kill infections and viruses. So in bats, what happens is because of this, they've evolved these very strong DNA repair mechanisms, and they have a lot of antioxidants. So these help provide these wonderful tolerance for viruses, and this allows bats to carry all these viruses that would be so destructive to humans and other animals. So the third reason why bats are great harbors of infection or reservoirs is they can live with such high amounts of other bats in these small areas, like think of bat caves, and this creates perfect conditions for viruses to be transmitted, for there to be genetic exchange between viruses, and this leads to new virus strains. And this super high population density combined with direct contact that bats have when they're together and because of their behavior leads to this crazy amount of viral evolution and viral adaptation. And then finally, one very important thing about bats is that they live for many years. They can live for like 30 years. And so when you have an animal that lives for so long, this is such a stable long-term area as a carrier of viruses. And they can also fly. So now you have viruses that are staying in the bat for a long time, that are mutating. And then when bats fly, they're perfect distributors of disease. So you have a lot of persistence and adaptation again of viruses. So all these characteristics make bats a very unique organism. So over many different years, this relationship between viruses and bats has evolved. And so viruses survive very well in bats, and this is because of these specialized immune responses that we don't have as humans. And so at some point, this is another different topic, a virus in a bat can mutate to jump from a bat to another animal, like a monkey. And then that virus can mutate to jump species from a monkey to a human. And then we have outbreaks of disease.